Well, hello everybody. As of the taking of this video, it is September 20th. And in the tradition of Earth, Wind, and Fire, my birthday's on the 21st. I'll put a link to their song in the description. You can enjoy that if you like. Although I don't know if they were thinking of me when they recorded the song. So when I was thinking about my birthday, I was giving a lot of thought. I'm a man in my 50s now, and I've had some really great occasions in my life. Um, as I run through my memory banks, I can remember occasions that were filled with lots of people, lots of hope, lots of promise. And by the contrast, I can also remember occasions when there weren't nearly as many people, there wasn't as much hope, and it didn't seem like promise was even possible. But that being said, I sort of look at myself as being like a good little tugboat who has not only dealt with calm seas and been able to efficiently do my job, but I've also dealt with the rough and hard weather that has tested the hull. And people feel better when they know that the tugboat has some years under it, is still solid, and is capable. But never discount the value of the experiences you have had leading up to any point in your life. And as I reflect on my life now, I'm not a rich man, but I'm very comfortable. I have a very blessed life. I have an excellent business. I've got great family, and I'm only expecting that is going to continue to get better as the years go by. But I wanted to share with you a story about a circumstance that I had just before the pandemic, just to give you an idea of how the world can unfold in ways that you don't realize. So just before the pandemic, I had gone through some turmoil, not only relationally, but as well in regard to my business. There'd been some shakeups, and largely that was due to the internet. And this thing I was doing at the time became less valuable because information became more democratic, internet-wise speaking. And so I proceeded into another line of business, which I had limited success with. I was working very hard with it, and basically getting a product and remarketing it. And I've never been unsuccessful, but I was working very hard at that. And so leading up to the pandemic, became acquainted with another business who did what I did, but they were hampered from the perspective that they did not have the ability to get the product in the same way that I did. But on the flip side, they were very good at marketing and had a good customer base. And so through a perfect set of incidents, I was able to connect with them, and we started doing some business. Now, we were doing some business for about a year, and I was becoming more and more a large part of their business. They had other suppliers in the past, but the quality of what I was providing was very high, and as a result, the results they were getting from their customers was very high as well, like as far as satisfaction. However, the principal of that company, which in this case actually turned out to be a woman, or not turned out, was, she, and that's not really important in this case, other than the fact that she was a little more unsure about many things. And one of those things would be my long-term viability and my ability to, in regards to getting the product, putting it in their hands, and keeping that whole success train running. Behind the scenes, it actually came aware to me that she had a supplier who had been very prevalent And it was always, when I supplied them goods, it was always implied that I should not let that other supplier know that I was indeed supplying goods for their business. I think there was some fear of retribution, maybe some territorialism. I don't know. But the reality is that it was always on the down low. And it's not that I felt like I was doing anything nefarious, but I was respecting what they were experiencing inside their community, in their interpersonal relations with that of the supplier, and also with their confidence. So I supplied this other business for about a year, and there came a point one day when I was interacting with them, and they more or less said to me, "Hey, we can't do business with you anymore." Now, this came right out of the blue because we had had a very robust arrangement where I would bring them goods and they would market them, and we had a very financially beneficial relationship for myself and for them as well. But for whatever the reason, they decided that it was too risky for them to continue dealing with me. I'm not sure if it was the people that, I'm sure it had something to do with one of their suppliers. Perhaps they were worried about perception in the world, like of their customers. These are things I do not know, or even personal insecurities. I have no idea. But it came as quite a shock, and essentially, well, for lack of a better comparison, we broke up. It's like the Dear John letter. Although I was in person, they were like, hey, we've had a good run here, but we just can't do it. And of course, just like every man who's ever got the Dear John letters, like, what did I do? What can I do to make it better? There wasn't a lot of concrete information relayed to me, and so, I simply accepted what was happening and I moved on. So this separation then happened, and I reverted back to what I was doing previously. And as I said, I've always been successful if I work, but let's face it, we would all like to be in situations where we're making the most money for the least amount of work. That's just human nature, and it's working smarter, not harder. So a couple of months happened by, and and then one fine day I got a phone call. And the phone call is that this customer of mine was reaching out saying, "Hey, listen, we've had a change of mind or heart, and we would like to reestablish relations with you." Now, I have no idea what happened on the back end. My suspicion, so this will be an idea, I guess. My suspicion was that supplier had threatened them, or maybe they just thought it was a threat. I don't know. But something had changed with this supplier's business, and as a result, they were not able to provide them with the same level of service and goods similar to what I had offered them in the past. And so I didn't force the issue. I simply was like, "Oh, really? Okay." I had no animosity. I had no hard feelings. I just was like, let's face it, when you're in business, if a customer says they want your product and they're willing to pay you what you're wanting for it, you're happy to comply. And so I did that. And it was actually perfect timing because no sooner did I realign myself with them than the pandemic began. And the pandemic really would have made it much more difficult for them to have a decent supplier. And I already had channels lined up and things like that. And it was basically what I would call perfect timing. And so, yeah, I continued to provide for them over the pandemic. And even now to this day, we have a very robust relationship. I think at this point now, I am their only supplier. And they continue to make lots of money on my efforts, and I continue to make lots of money on dealing with them, and everybody wins. But I would not have seen that when that initial upset happened in our relationship. And so as I sit back and I reflect upon the other relationships that I've had in my life that may not be continuing now. In many cases, I do not know why some of those relationships ended or the reason they ended. I may never know. But the best part about about an experience like I've shared, is that it is really not your department to, when you have an internal register of goodness and where you're looking out for people and you're just essentially looking for balance. So when you look at the people you're dealing with, you want to give them your best shot, but at the same time you want to experience the best shot from them. And if that relationship becomes imbalanced, well, in my estimation, it's actually better for it to end early than late, because then you're not exasperated over trying to reestablish that balance. But in the case of this circumstance I just described to you, clearly they felt that there was some imbalance when I was servicing them that I had no idea about, and which caused them to choose to not want to deal with me. But then through circumstance, they then discovered that the relationship we had was actually a very, very balanced one, and the one that they wanted. So no matter what happens in your life, if you are presented with circumstances that seem like they are unfair, maybe you lose your job, maybe you lose out on a deal, maybe you lose out on an opportunity, heck, maybe even a partner leaves you. The sky's the limit. Most everyone who's lived, to my ripe age, can share with you many circumstances they have felt where they felt that there was imbalance. But the beauty of embracing those changes without fighting them, simply saying, hey, this is, whatever's going on here is for the best. And in the case that I've just described to you, it actually was for the best, because they soon discovered that I was actually dealing with me was actually the best choice the whole time. And because I have no personal animosity for people over, in this particular case, they didn't leave me with any bills unpaid, or they didn't leave any kind of a bad taste in my mouth. It was simply just, hey, we can't deal with you for whatever reason. I was able to exit that circumstance, have a good mindset about it, and then through my own good deeds, I'm not saying I'm the best guy in the world, but through my own pleasant interactions and actions, that relationship was able to be reestablished, and we moved into the future. And in the final analysis, it was the perfect timing. Thanks everybody for watching today's video. I appreciate it. More ramblings of a middle-aged man, but I hope that some of you equally experienced or maybe less experienced will get some value out of this. If you agree with what I've shared today, feel free to like or comment to the positive or the negative. I'm receptive to both. And thank you for all the well wishes concerning my birthday. And I look forward to talking to everyone again very, very soon. Have a good day.